Hey, I think we're live. Welcome, everybody. Ba Weep, Grana Weep, Nenny Bong, all you Transformers fans out there. And we had a bunch of news this week. I remember last week, like, bitching and moaning about how there's really nothing to talk about this week. So let's get going here. I'm going to do some sharing here to let people on Twitter know what I'm doing. Let me see here. Let me get going here. There's a share. All right. Now let's share that on Facebook. Okay. Hey, you jerks, we're live. We're live, jerks. There we go. Okay. And let's see, let me put that on the fantastic, amazing, real Manos Facebook page. We're live, everybody. All right, here we go. Hi. Anyway, like I said, last week, no news. This week, geeky news blew its load all over our face, and it was disgusting. So we're going to be talking about a bunch of it. And I am here, the real Manos, and I have in the background somewhere in the apartment my lovely wife, Lindsay.
Hello.
So I don't know. She'll be here in spirit and and body too. It's amazing.
Not on camera.
Not on camera. There we go. So all right. What? Okay. Now a lot of people are blaming Disney, and a lot of people are blaming Sony, and I'm sure some people are blaming Brie Larson, of course, but. From what I understand, this is what was going on with the deal, and Disney and Sony was able to cut a deal, which I always thought was pretty good compromise, and that Disney would have creative control, therefore, so it can work with their MCU, and they would get 5% of the profits on that, which for Disney is amazing. So anyway, it came time to renegotiate and re-sign because the contract was up. And Disney was like, well, hey, how about this? How about 50%? Big 45% more. So Sony was like, I don't think so, man. Look, we got this Spider-Verse thing that worked out really well for us. We just passed $1 billion, the most successful Spider-Man movie we ever made, although you made it. And yeah, it's not going to work for us. And they've let the deal fall through. So everyone's kind of losing their collective shit over it. And right now, we're not sure. I just read something online about how Kevin Feige has talked about how Spider-Man is not coming back to the MCU, which is, by the way, in case you've seen Far From Home and the cliffhanger that they leave us on, that's a pretty shitty way to leave it. I don't know at this point. My hope is that cooler heads can win the day. Hopefully, maybe both parties can take a minute and talk amongst themselves and come back to the table and go, okay, maybe, hey, how about 25%? Which I think would be fair. I mean, Sony has had a lot of trouble like figuring out what they want to do with Spider-Man movies or any movies. And Disney has proven track record, and also it being connected to the MCU is also a big help. Because look, if they both go their separate ways, this is kind of a lose lose for everybody. But they're able to find their if they're able to find a nice kind of like middle ground, well then that's great. Um, I hope they can figure it out. Frankly, I don't know if they will. And here's the thing. Here's the good news. Here's my perspective on it. Of course, being a huge Spider-Man fan, um, I love the fact that it's been in the MCU. I really enjoyed the movies. I loved Spider-Verse, obviously, but it's not the end of the world. And let's see. Hey, Omnitron, how you doing? Let's pour one out for old Peter. Yep. And here's the thing, like maybe I don't know, maybe it's just with age. Is like I'm not losing my shit over this. Because look, I look at the situation and I go, you know what? Sony will be fine. Spider-Man will be fine. Disney will be fine. The MCU will be fine. Marvel will be fine. We'll be fine. I can't get too upset over this because look, right now we have concentration camps and the Amazon's on fire. There are a few more things to worry about, frankly. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. We had a good run, and hopefully Sony will like finish up their Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. Well, I mean, they haven't had a great track record with the third one on each of their Spider-Man series, but maybe we'll break the chain on that. Or shit, just hey, get the Spider-Verse guys to plot it. I don't know. And it's not impossible. I mean, Spider-Man can go back to what he's doing, and they just don't interrupt each other and stuff like that. Hey, let's see, who else is here? Curious Low is here. Let's see, and Omnitron is also here still. Curious Low also says hi. Hi. Omnitron says, I'm just disappointed, mostly because I wish we could at least get a final movie to wrap things up. Yeah, I would like that. I mean, it's cool to see if each one of the main characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe can get a trilogy. Cap, Iron Man, Thor's getting a fourth one. Spider-Man. We'll see if Black Widow can get three, even if Natasha doesn't make it, if you know what I mean. Curious Low says, I do wish we could get a final movie as well, but I think we have a chance of still getting that with Sony. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, if worst comes to worst, we will get that third movie. It'll be through Sony, and Spider-Man just doesn't follow into like the MCU anymore, which is not impossible to get away with, because he's always considered himself like a small corner type of universe character, even though he is like traveled through space, like Nick Fury says. So that's a possibility. Let's see. Omnitron thinks, I have a theory that Peter goes in the underground with May thanks to Fury and S.H.I.E.L.D. Q-Slow thinks he's back to being neighborhood level. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I have been wondering, I don't know if I brought this up, but since we're talking about spoilers anyway, I have been wondering if we're going to see that Sinister Six thing finally pay off that, Sony's been wanting to do since the Amazing Spider-Man movies. And they kind of started the ball rolling in Homecoming, where we can get like Vulture, Mysterio, let's see, maybe Shocker. We can have like Scorpion is like in a cameo in Far From Home. And then we can bring it all together with maybe a new Green Goblin or something like that, and making his debut in the third one. And that can be avoided, from the MCU or something like that. I guess no more of this cute talk we had about his lawyer being Matt Murdock, or I guess that's kind of down the toilet now. So I think this can work. I think we can at least get one more good Tom Holland Spider-Man movie out of it. Hopefully, at least wrapping up this story. So it's the third one will at least be unofficially, part of it. Um, so that's kind of it right now. I of course would prefer cooler head in the day and then figure things out and get Spidey back in the MCU, but I don't know. Let's see. Blah, 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 blah. Curious Low says, again, it's not ideal, but I'm not crying over here. Yeah, I mean, yes. I've seen worse things. There have been many, many, many worse things. Matter of fact, there are worse things. Just look at the news. That's all I have to say. So yeah, I mean, we could figure this out. Let's see. I think we could get a Sony Spider-Man sequel with Holland, like him on the run with the villains, with Craven and Chameleon, hunting them down. Okay, here's the thing. Actually, I was just about to say this, and I kind of interrupted myself. We could do the Sinister Six thing, and we can do a take on Civil War when Spider-Man revealed his identity to the public in Civil War, and then started to feud with Iron Man, and then went on the run. He was on the run. Everyone knew his secret identity, and that's when he was with Mary Jane and Aunt May, and Aunt May got shot, which fell into the whole one more day thing. And this could be a chance to do a film version of that and do it well. I'm not a big fan of that storyline and story arc. As you might have noticed, I stopped reading Spider-Man for 10 years, so not a fan of that. But that doesn't mean the movie can't be good if we just take that basic source material. I mean, Civil War is a terrible comic, but they made a great film out of it. And also with Batman, The Return of Jason Todd, that comic is awful. Under the Red Hood is terrible, but the movie's really good. So they can follow through with that again if they make a really good solid script using that basic material and leave out Mephisto. No deal with the devil. Let's just cut the brass taxes, and maybe the deal with the devil could be the Green Goblin instead. We'll see what that's about. Let's see. So I don't know. I was kind of a little bit bummed out about that, and I was definitely going to be mostly talking about that today. But we also had all this other Marvel news. Disney is doing its hooray, we own everything celebration, and they were pulling out all the stops by releasing more info on what they have coming up. And of course, the Disney Plus TV shows are going to be included: Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, and Moon Knight. And I just want to talk about those first. I'm very excited about those three. I initially was partially disappointed because I wanted to see them all in movies. I wanted a Miss Marvel movie. I wanted a She-Hulk movie. They also released information that Miss Marvel won't just be in the TV show. She will also be appearing in the MCU films, which is great. And not surprising because I've considered the TV shows like secondary canon. And secondary canon, long story short, secondary canon is let's say there's a TV show like Star Trek: The Next Generation, and they have comic books running at the same time the TV show is. The comic books, now Star Trek: Next Generation, have to reference and work on in the TV series, but the TV series does not necessarily have to reference what's going on in the comic books. And that's kind of what the MCU TV shows have been about, like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., The Runaways, Cloak and Dagger, and the Netflix TV shows. They've all been secondary canon. Yeah, they have to react on the films, but the films don't have to give a shit about them. And we've proven with what happened with the Netflix apocalypse that, yeah, they could just write them off. It doesn't even matter if they have some of their major characters in there. They can just start over. The Disney Plus shows are all Disney. They're not working with Netflix or any other secondary people. So that's not surprising that, oh, cool, we can have them interact. And actually the first few TV shows announced are, built directly out of the films. So it's not surprising that the Miss Marvel series, the Moon Knight series, the She-Hulk series, they can interact more with the films, which is cool. Which is cool for me, because that means we can have Miss Marvel like hang out with Captain Marvel. We can have She-Hulk and Hulk interact. Maybe She-Hulk can actually be in the Avengers. We can have Moon Knight. Moon Knight might be, if done like, let's say, similar to the Warren Ellis period, we may or may not see him involved with the MCU. He might. I don't know. I'm very excited about that. Let's see. I'm excited about all three. I'm a huge She-Hulk fan. I have generally called her my third favorite Marvel superhero. There's Spider-Man, Daredevil, and She-Hulk. And how odd is it that two of my three favorite Marvel heroes are lawyers? I don't know. I've never really cared about lawyers, but I guess you put them in superheroes, and they're one of my favorite things. Um, and I've been a huge fan of Miss Marvel from pretty much the get-go. And I don't, I don't know if I'm going to call myself the biggest Moon Knight fan, but oh boy, that Warren Ellis run is just perfection, and it's so simple and it's great. And here are a few of my hopes. I don't know if Miss Marvel will be directly attached to the Inhuman thing, because I know Marvel was really big about the Inhumans. Like, oh man, we can't get that X-Men license. Hey, what do we have that's kind of like X-Men? Oh, the Inhumans. Okay, we're totally so hardcore into the Inhumans, and yeah, the Inhumans aren't the X-Men, and they aren't as cool as the X-Men, and they aren't socially relevant in the same way that X-Men is. And they tried to kind of fit that square peg in a round hole, and it didn't quite feel right. I mean, there are some things you can do with the Inhumans, obviously, but not in the way they wanted to. So we'll see if she remains. To be honest, the way they've written Miss Marvel over the last few years, being an Inhuman is not the most important thing about the character, and I think that's been really wise, and it's paid off. So we'll see if she stays an Inhuman connected to that, or it'll be some other, just a lab accident. That Terrigen Mist could be anything, really. I mean, who cares where it came from? It turns her into a stretchy person. The end. Or she could be a mutant, now that that's kind of like being a thing. And by the way, it would be hilarious if they made her a mutant in the MCU, and then down the road, with the comics, they'd retcon it. Like, oh yeah, you thought you were an Inhuman? Yeah, you were really a mutant. I can't. I know they would totally do that. And I would personally probably maybe an unknown, at least somebody I am not aware of. I think would probably be best. I don't have like a specific person I'd like to see play her. I would definitely like a tone to be in the same league of what the G. Willow Wilson series has been. Mixing like teenage life and superhero stuff, not too different than the coming movies. Frankly, it wouldn't be too far removed from that. So with She-Hulk, I am all in. Man, I got to tell you, I've been waiting since 2008 for them to bring She-Hulk into the mix. I would definitely love to do a tone very similar to plot era of the comic, which also kind of combined with the Peter David run, or the Charles Soule run, which is very similar to the Dan Slott run, where it's law room drama comedy mixed with superhero stuff, and it's just so great. I just love this character. I want to see her in court as She-Hulk conducting a case. I want that to happen. There is a great Chris Claremont short story. It was put in an Adventures comic, but it's also been reprinted. It's great. If you can ever find it, she goes to the Supreme Court to argue a case regarding the Mutant Registration Act, and it keeps getting interrupted because one of her stupid villains kept fighting the cops outside, and they kept interrupting. Oh, She-Hulk, we need you to go outside. Okay, fine. Recess. And literally through the whole day, she gets she gets escaped from the cops and starts fighting, and she has to fight her again. It's priceless. And that has a great comic tone, comedic tone, and I would love that kind of thing to be done with She-Hulk, and of course mix her up with the films. And I already mentioned, as an actress, I know a lot of fans have immediately started talking about like some wrestlers and bodybuilding chicks and stuff like that. No, I'm not for that. Because look, we have this thing called CGI, which we can make Ellen Page She-Hulk, for God's sakes. I am more interested in an actress like, let's say, Anne Hathaway or Tina Fey, that kind of actress. That can do comedy, that can do drama. You make them into like a 7-foot tall green giant chick with muscles, and they would look convinced, still look believable in the suit in a courtroom or on a battlefield. That's the kind of actress I think they should look for. And I think one of those an actress like those two, like an Anne Hathaway or a Tina Fey, I think those would be fantastic. Let's see. And definitely I've been thinking about Moon Knight as well. Like I said, I'm not the biggest Moon Knight fan. I am more, I dig the character, but I've never really invested too much into him. I would definitely love to see a tone very much like the Warren Ellis series. It's one trade. It's 6 issues. It's great. Warren Ellis should have stayed on Moon Knight forever. He's just perfect. He's like Batman, except he's really legitimately crazy. Not like Batman, who has that line that he walks. No, he is just like he leapt over that line and fell onto it face first. He's got like multiple personalities that may or may not be influenced by Egyptian gods. He doesn't know who he is half the time, but he still knows what he's trying to do. And great, I love the character. And they recently, Warren Ellis added this interesting idea of him not always having the cape and the hood costume, and he sometimes, for like different situations, has like the suit with the mask, and it looks really cool. He looks like almost like a version of the Question, it's great. And I hope they kind of do that. It's cool. I know people were fighting over which one was better. I think both. Just do both. It's interesting. Do both. As an actor, I don't know if I can't really think of anybody off the top of my head. An actor in the vein of like Keanu Reeves, I think, would be a actor type that they should go for. And of course, I'd love to see him interact with whatever they figure out on Daredevil. And he's never been like a huge Avenger, so we'll see about that. Let's see here. Got some comments and questions here. Curious Low says Moon Knight has me ecstatic. Let's see. Blah, 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 blah. Omnitron, like She-Hulk, is the best one for me. Yeah. Top 3 Marvel heroes are Hulk. Number 2, She-Hulk. Oh man, you beat me on that. And number 3, Spider-Man. Omnitron also. If we're talking top 5, it's Hulk, She-Hulk, Spider-Man. The number 4 is The Thing. Number 5 is Black Knight. Ooh, wow, that's a deep cut. Makura, hi, hello everybody. It's a time to discuss the expo that the trailer made for Manos. Yeah, that was tailor-made for Manos. Yeah, go for it. Let's see. I feel it is standard procedure to cast a woman of color as Green Lady. Let's see. Keanu Reeves should be in everything. I mean, yeah. I don't know. Let's see. I haven't thought too much beyond, number 3. I mean, it's been a solid 3 for me: Spider-Man, Daredevil, and She-Hulk. I guess, I don't know, maybe Miss Marvel might be a 4th for me. And maybe Captain Marvel is 5th or something like that. I'm still a big fan of Ben Grimm, The Thing. I love him. I love Rogue. I love Wolverine. Um, let's see. I love Black Widow. And especially, by the way, the Soka sisters did a Black Widow miniseries. If you skipped it, you shouldn't have skipped it. It's great. I don't know if you can pick up the issues, but the trade should be out like now. So the Soka sisters Black Widow miniseries, go find it. It's great. Um, let's see. Omnitron, don't worry, Manos. I mean, Dane Whitman as the Black Knight. Let's see. Also, I'm aware of the irony of Ben Grimm being my fourth. Yeah. Oh man, I'm really happy to see the Fantastic Four back, and it looks like Marvel is paying the right amount of attention to the X-Men. And swinging on back to Spider-Man, I think my biggest concern about this drama that's going on right now with Spider-Man is that Disney and Marvel would be tempted to do that bullshit they did with the X-Men and the Fantastic Four when they were fighting with Fox, where they just downplayed their comics, which to me, to this day, is like the dumbest strategy. That was literally cutting your nose off to spite your face. I don't know if they can do that with Spider-Man, though, because he's such a big character. I think that would be. They tried that might backfire on them. So we'll see. Don't be alarmed by the Mandalorian trailer. It's not Boba Fett. He shall continue. Stand in the corner and do nothing. Remain calm. I'm going to talk about Mandalorian in a minute. Spider-Man is way too big for that. It would be like DC doing that to Batman. Correct, yeah. That's the thing. I don't think they'll do it. That might be on the table, but I don't think they'll do it. They could, but 90% of their profit would go out the window. Yeah, it would be themselves. So, and especially right now, Spider-Man is like really hot at Marvel with what the Amazing Spider-Man. They have a couple other Spider books. Miles Morales, Ghost Spider. They have like really rebuilt this whole block of Spider titles. Much to their success, it's been paying off. I mean, shit, man. I'm reading Spider-Man again, and I didn't know I'd ever come back. So I don't see them doing that, but boy, that would be dumb. Let's see. I'm going to talk about the Mandalorian thing because I really wasn't expecting that either. Let's see. I knew it, well, maybe not expecting it, but I really didn't think about it this week. And of course, the Mandalorian is centered around. I think it's not just specifically Boba Fett. It's centered around like the various bounty hunters that also stood around and did nothing. It's funny. Like as a kid, I was one of those kids that collected the post box off the action figures, so you could order the Boba Fett figure. I was one of those kids that did that, and it was like the first time I ever did that, and it was really exciting. It was really fun. I got them in the mail. It was for me, and I was like, how old was I? Like 8, 9? So that's a pretty new experience. Came in a little special package, and no, the missile didn't fire. I think a lot of fans of Boba Fett have that experience, like when they were kids and this action figure experience, and it was like a big deal, and he looks cool. But you grow up and you look back at the movies, and like really doesn't do anything. Like if you count Special Edition New Hope, he like for 2 movies just stands there and does nothing. And then in the third movie, Return of the Jedi, he dies comically on a burp joke. Like that didn't even happen to Jar Jar Binks, for God's sakes. And like the coolest stuff, I guess, has been in the EU, the expanded universe stuff. But to be honest, like I've never invested myself in that because, like I was saying earlier about secondary canon, don't get too excited about secondary canon because they can take it away from you like that, and it's been proven over and over again they will take it away if they need to do something different, and they can't like worry about that shit. So yeah, there have been times where I've been wondering, like, geez, why did I love Boba Fett so much? Like, it doesn't do anything. Boba Fett was an easy create your own story character for kids. Yeah, that's a good point. He was such a blank slate that you could project anything you want onto him. Like, we didn't know what he looked like for years. Like, it wasn't until Attack of the Clones we got to see behind the mask. We see his dad, and his dad did some cool stuff before getting his head chopped off, and then his kid does nothing. This kid becomes, of course, Boba Fett, and then does nothing. So, like, how crazy it is when you think about, like, the coolest stuff we see Boba Fett do on screen is in the shitty holiday special, like the animated special, which is really, like, bad. It looks like the cheap cut scene from Heavy Metal. Like, this is too bad. We'll just cut this shit out. He's really cool in that, but that's kind of like the bad. Kind of it. That's kind of what he's done. Oh man, yeah. Jar Jar Binks has done more than Boba Fett. That's amazing. Bitching about Rose Tico. Rose Tico is a badass compared to Boba Fett. I mean, she does like a lot of shit in one movie. God, she like tears up the whole like rich city with a space horse, and goes and gets all this stuff and like fights the Empire and saves Finn from killing himself unnecessarily. Boba Fett stands there and goes, "Hey, it's no good to be dead." And we're all fans going, "Oh wow, he like talked to Vader like that." Like, that's it, man. I know I'm busting on Boba Fett a little more than I thought, but that's why I'm excited to see him do stuff. He's got to do stuff in this, right? I mean, that's a huge selling point. Like, this is like the thing we've been promised for 40 fucking years. I've even like heard like George Lucas talk about Boba Fett, and he just doesn't understand the fandom for the character. He said, I've heard him talk about like, I don't get it. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's Lucas, but that's kind of funny. I don't know. It's always like, it's so funny to see someone create something that they don't even like. It's and taken on a life of their own, and they're going like, I don't know how you people are seeing this. I don't know. Let's see. Hawkman's dad. DC has taught me not to be concerned with canon. Oh man, if you're a DC fan, don't get too attached to anything. That's something I've learned. He-Man sequel coming from Netflix. Thoughts? Yes, I will talk about that. Now, I did do a video where I talked about it separately. You can check it out after watching this fantastic live show. But I will repeat here. Let's see. I was really surprised. I didn't expect Kevin Smith, of all people, to be show running. He is show running this miniseries with, I believe, Powerhouse Animation Studio, doing an ending for the He-Man Masters of the Universe TV show from the 80s, which, if you remember, was about maybe 20 minutes of footage recut and reused over and over again and turned into a TV show to sell action figures. Yeah, I love it. It's one of those things that, you can't like do completely over like that. Like I'm wondering. Let's see, Skeletor and Hordak crossover. Yeah, well, Skeletor and Hordak did cross over in the Christmas special, so you got that. I think they did appear, if memory serves me right. Hordak does appear in the 2002 He-Man series, which is great. But I'm a little concerned because it's a revival and not a reboot. Then that means they need to kind of adhere to the old series, and they can't go too far. They can't make it into like Castlevania, where it's gory and Zack Snyder-ish and shit like that. Like, because that's nowhere near the tone of the old show. I mean, I think a good idea is to follow what's already been done. The 2002 He-Man show, I think, walked that line of making something cool for a modern day audience and still living up to the fun of the old one. And the current She-Ra series does that. Where they are able to raise the stakes and make it serious during the action and drama stuff and be real with it and still have goofy fun. I think they should probably really kind of aim that way with the show. I think that would be kind of because if they make it BBS dark, that's a big mistake. I know, because I'm not a fan of like making super dark for no reason, because I don't think that equals quality. So we'll see. Kevin Smith is surprising. I did not even foresee him doing that. I don't know if I've heard him really talk too much about He-Man, so it was a surprise to me for him being the showrunner. He has done a animated series before, the Clerks animated series, which some people love and some people don't. I'm one of those people who don't. I thought it was like a disappointment. But I'm sure he's like learned from that. He's had some experience making an animated series, so he could use that for this. And yeah, we can see. It would be great if he brought in some writers from the old show, because I don't know if you know this, but J. Michael Sinensky wrote for He-Man and Masters of the Universe. Paul Dini, Mr. Batman the Animated Series, he wrote for He-Man Masters of the Universe. I almost feel like maybe they should have tried to get one of these guys to do the showrunner. But yeah, Clerks was a weird thing to try and do as a as a franchise. Oh well, hey, it's what you got. You might as well go for it. Let's see. Bevan Campbell 12 says, "Hi, Real Manos." Hi, Bevan Campbell 12. How you doing? So we'll see. It is unfortunate that it looks like we're not going to get any big She-Ra He-Man crossovers, because this is separate from that, and because this is part of that old version of the series, so they really can't connect. And I don't think they'll be able to connect with that old version of She-Ra too, because that's tied up with the new show. So my guess is original She-Ra is not going to appear in this. They might make reference to her, like, hey, she's got her own shit going on here. We're doing this right here. She can't help us. So that would be my guess on how and that's some simple dialogue and throwaway dialogue that can explain it. Likewise, on the new show, I've had a long theory, not long theory, I've had a theory since the show started that at the end of the Netflix She-Ra series will end with Adora getting a chance to step through the portal to her homeworld of Eternia, and we just won't see that. It'll be like the last episode of Legend of Korra, where, yeah, she's done her job here and she's going to get her reward by going home and visiting her homeland and home planet. And it'll end there. We won't get to see, but we know, because, we know what this crap is. So that's a prediction on my part. That's a bonus prediction that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. Let's see. Omnitron Cars is a weird thing to franchise. Yes. What the hell? What did we? I don't know. I don't know what the hell that was about. I mean, for a couple of years, that was just all over the place. And kids love talking cars. Look, I ain't gonna be judgmental. When I was a kid, there was this TV show Hanna-Barbera made called Wheelie and the Chopper Bunch, which I loved. And it sucks. It's bad. If you find some episodes on YouTube, check it out. It's dumb. It's basically, it could be in the Cars universe. Wheelie is a fast, hot rod Volkswagen Bug, and he's constantly being chased by these bikers who are just bikers. I mean, they're bikes. And he's constantly being chased by them. That's the show. Everyone talks except Wheelie. He beeps. So I guess he's got a speech impediment or something, because everyone speaks fine. And yeah, I love that show as a kid. And if you had made toys of that, if you had made like a multi-million-dollar film franchise, look, I'm no better I would have definitely 7-year-old me would have definitely been into that shit. It makes no sense. Like why do you have doors if you're why do you have steering wheels if you're like a whole universe of cars and there's no people? You know, cars with tongues and teeth are weird. I don't know what that's about. Shit. There was like Speed Buggy. Hanna Barbera loved their sentient cars. Speed Buggy was a 1970s show, and that show, by the way, don't tell me how cartoons today are nowhere near as good as when we were kids. That's bullshit. Speed Buggy was made by the producers because Mel Blanc did funny car noises. It's like, oh wow, that's really funny. Let's make a whole show about that. Let's see. Let's rip off Scooby Doo and turn him into a Speed Buggy. Oh, Speed Buggy. There we go. All right, we got 13 episodes right here. So yeah, like I imagine that's why Cars was a thing, and they tried to like spin that off of the planes too. Good lord. Just not for me. It's just some things are like you're an adult, and it's like, well, let those kids have that. Let's see, where are we here? Let's see, Omnitron. I think we do Hero, that unproduced character who is part of the Grayskull origin, the most powerful wizard in the universe. His name, plus name wise, it thematically fits with Shira. I've heard of the hero thing. That's interesting. I don't know if they'll do that. It's supposed to be uncovering secrets. So I don't know. We'll see if there's anything that they were meant to put in the old show that they're going to do for this. That'd probably be a good idea. Um, let's see, maybe something secret about Skeletor. It'd be cool if like they're able to get some of the surviving voice actors to join in. Like Alan Oppenheimer would be fun to hear one more time. Maybe not playing Skeletor if he can't do the voice anymore. I don't know if he can. Guy's like probably 90. Let's see. Wait, have you seen Avatar and Korra? Okay, don't get mad, but no. I've seen the last episode of Korra, which when like that episode aired, like everyone went ape shit. So I just by being on the internet, I had seen like a lot of clips of the last episode. I've been thinking about buying the shows on DVD Blu-ray. I had like Lindsay and I were at Linhaven Mall the other day, and I saw like a couple of box sets, like it's 25 and 25, 50 bucks. I could just buy the whole thing right now. But no, I've not seen them. They've been on the table to watch. They're not on any streaming service for free that I can find. So we'll see. Maybe when Disney buys Nickelodeon in the near future, maybe we can, get that. I'm now resigned to the idea that Disney will just buy someone else. Okay. Let's see. It can cause the Pixar connected universe. Hero for the Shiva show. That's interesting. We'll see. I feel like I really do feel like we'll kind of get cameos or like I said, like suggesting the universe is there, because both shows are strong enough to stand on its own. Obviously, He-Man first because that show was created first, but I think She-Ra, especially with this series, proved that it's strong enough to stand on its own, even without like too much He-Man connection. But they are connected, so you have that issue going on. Let's see. I have box sets of them. I assume Korra and Avatar. Yeah, I've been thinking about getting into the show. Or Marshall Bravestar. Oof, boy, that's an old one. That's Filmation, and that's when Filmation was trying to like figure out the next toy thing they could get in on. But man, I don't know. Filmation, jeez, they were like, they were more. A lot of people just basically know them for He-Man and She-Ra, but man, they were like, they were all over the 70s. They were basically, I feel like they were like right behind Hanna-Barbera. Hanna-Barbera owned everything. on TV in the 70s. And like, don't forget, that was a shit period for Disney in animation. So Hanna-Barbera was just, I feel like Hanna-Barbera may have been number two. And they were all over TV where Disney had like the movies and stuff like that. And even not so much the movies because they were really not doing much new stuff during the 70s. And then right after Hanna-Barbera was Filmation. And Filmation is like not the best animated if you've ever watched any of their shows. And they did everything. Look, they were like doing this thing during the 70s where they were picking up licenses of like any TV show laying around, like Gilligan's Island. God, they did like Star Trek. That was a big hit for them. And I think that's still on Netflix. You could watch the animated Star Trek right now. That was like 2 seasons or something like that. They did a Flash Gordon series that I remember watching as a kid. Tarzan, Zorro. God, they had a Batman, which was weird. They had a Batman show going on at the same time Hanna-Barbera was doing Batman in the Super Friends. So you had 2 different versions of Batman running around. Let's see. That would be amazing to show up in She-Ra, maybe lead to a spinoff from Brave Star. I don't know how much traction Brave Star has, but we'll see. Let's see. A friend of mine says he thinks DreamWorks should buy Thundar the Barbarian and use him in a crossover for She-Ra. Now, don't forget, Thundar takes place 2,000 years after 1994 when that comet destroyed the Earth. That's the premise. Comet crosses. It goes in between Earth and the Moon and causes earthquakes and destruction. I don't know what kind of comet. I mean, we have comets go by the Earth. I guess it's super close.
Really big and really close?
Yeah, really close. It didn't even hit the Earth. And it destroys the Earth in 1994. Remember that?
Yeah, I totally remember that. That was a terrible year.
Yeah, that sucked. But that's the 2 things that happened. Pulp Fiction and the world being destroyed by a comet. And then it takes place 2,000 years later. I could go for, I don't know. I mean, Thundar would be interesting. I mean, there are people like me that remember it, but I don't know how much tread there is for that. I would love to see some of the old Alex Toth Hanna-Barbera shows from the 60s. And, that starts with like, Johnny Quest, but I love the Herculoids and Space Ghost. Really, DC and Warner Brothers owns that stuff, and they're just sitting on them. They recently did a whole bunch of cool comics with them, but that's kind of it. Let's see. Space is warped and time is bendable. So therefore, we can get the Thunder. Let's see. Well, this is a new version. It's not on Earth. Hey, maybe Earth is all fucked up, and the show takes place 2,000 years in our future. It's possible. Literally anything's possible. So we'll see. My core says, I remember that comet. Hell of a year. Yeah. Hey, when did Kurt Cobain kill himself? Was this 94? Was it 94?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's what happened. Let's see. What time we got? Well, we're like 12 minutes before midnight, so we're almost done with tonight's show. All right, I've talked about the whole shenanigans over with Spider-Man and Disney and Sony, and the new announcements with Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, Moon Knight, Mandalorians. Oh, hey, I guess I can wrap this up by saying a couple things. When I was at work, I noticed Disney made some announcements of the new Black Panther film, Black Panther 2, with Ryan Coogler doing it. And I think it's March 2022. That's a couple of years away. That's a little further away than I expected. Although now that I think about it, they had to probably set this up with Ryan's schedule because he's doing other films. And then, of course, it has to fit in the schedule of the Marvel films. You know, the logistics of doing this series must be a fucking nightmare now that I think about it. Oh, so that's 3 years away. Good Lord. Although to be honest, that used to be kind of the thing. Like, sequels now seem to come so much quicker than they used to be. Like when they were successful, it's like, okay, when it's coming, come on. I mean, the old days was like you were lucky if you got the movie in 3 years. So I don't know. We'll see. That's 4 years. Wow. Although he is appearing in like other movies, so it almost feels like these characters really don't go away since they're appearing in other people's movies. Let's see. Just like that, we had the wave of antimatter in 1985. Tough to clean up, am I right? Yeah, I know it's tough. That comet was our generation. Where you were when Kennedy got shot. Man, I was there. I remember when the comet went by the moon and blew it up and turned us into barbarian monsters. It was crazy. So yeah, Disney also made a couple more runs. The Black Panther 2, and they're doing an animated series of Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, which I've seen the promotional art for it. It looks really good. The Devil Dinosaur looks really cool. I haven't read the comic. Have you read Have you read Moon Girl?
Yeah, I have the first trade over there.
Okay, yeah, and you really like that.
Mm-hmm.
I've been hearing a lot of good press for it. So that's really cool. I really like that being an animated series. I think that's a really good idea. So let's see. Yeah, we're just about kind of at the end here, tail end. Before I wrap up, does anybody have any lingering questions about what we've been talking about or anything? Because I'm sure there was some kind of news item that I overlooked. I do know that there's some cool promotional stuff released for a Captain Marvel story arc that's coming out where she's turning evil or dark or turned to the dark side. She complete with this new cool ass costume, which is all black and really cool. Looks like she's going a little parallax on us, and they haven't really told us the specifics on it. I assume it's connected to the current Fallen Star story arc. Let's see. My offer to send you Avatar. Well, that's up to you, man. I don't know. If you want to send me, if you want to spend the money to send me a box set, that's your money. But if you want, or if you let's see, if you want, maybe we can do something through Patreon. Like if you pledge a certain amount on Patreon, I'll go buy the box set. It's over at Target right now for $25. Like if you pledge like a certain amount on Patreon, I'll go buy it right now. Not right now because store's open, store's closed. But when I get to it, let's see. I think we're kind of done here. We're a couple more minutes before midnight. I think this was pretty fun. Thank you everybody for joining the show and being a part of it. You were great. I thought you were fantastic. I love you guys. I want to thank my co-host and wife, Lindsay.
Oh, you're welcome.
And let's see. Yeah, that's her hand. Oh no. Let's see. So, hey, I'm on the social medias. You can check me out on Twitter, Real Manos Facebook, Red Knight Facebook. I'm on Instagram, and you can support this channel through Patreon if you want. And we can get the ball rolling. I don't know what that means. So you can support the channel here. And let's see. I'm going to be trying to do this. I mentioned this last week. I'm going to try and do a live show Saturday nights as much as I can at 11. I think that's a pretty good time. I'm not doing much. Sometimes I don't work on Sundays, so it's probably the best time to do it. And people are night owls anyway. So yeah, I hope to. Unless I don't think we're doing anything next Saturday, are we? No, we're doing this show next Saturday. That's what we're doing. So we'll be here next Saturday at 11 for another weekly Manos, and we'll talk about I don't know, whatever happened in the past week. All right, you guys were great. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and don't hate, celebrate.